welcome to another edition of Island Tea, WINNFM's program here in the morning. It's a wonderful Friday morning. It's
Yes.
TGIF.
Indeed.
Yes, TGIF. You know that we have a weekend ahead of us. So many things to do. Some persons, might use it to get some extra work in. Some others may use it to relax. Others may use it, maybe to leave and go somewhere different.
I hope you're not one of the working ones. I feel like you are. That's why you slipped that one in.
I know, you have to capture everybody. I try to be all inclusive.
Yeah.
But I have
But
a
I do
quote
hear you.
this morning that I absolutely loved when I saw it, and I want to share it this morning with everyone.
Hit us.
Yes, then we could discuss it,
All right.
Yeah, we could discuss it for a bit. It says, "All that is gold does not glitter. All those who wander are not lost. The oil that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost." I'm going to say it again. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The oil that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. So I'm going to say it one more time. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The oil that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. So
And I can't
many
help but
messages.
notice who it's by. Do you know this guy?
No, but
Lord of the Rings.
oh,
Yes.
yes. Oh, so I know the movie.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's a popular movie.
J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think that quote has in so many messages in all at once. You understand?
Yeah, I
When
really
you look at
like
the
it.
First line. All that is gold does not glitter. Sometimes we look at things and we look at persons or we look at situations and we feel as though the grass is green on the other side. We see something happening, maybe to persons or individuals, and we wish that we were in those persons' positions, not realizing that not everything that is gold glitters. You understand?
Exactly.
Sometimes when you are placed in that position, you realize, well, this is all that it was about.
Exactly.
You understand?
I should have stayed on the other side of the fence.
Yes. Sometimes persons see, and then, persons maybe even in relationships, and you feel like everything is going well, but all that is gold does not glitter. You understand? And then sometimes we're looking at persons, and persons might be looking like they are aimlessly walking, but not all those who wander are lost. Sometimes you might see somebody, or sometimes you might not know where that individual is going. They might appear to be all over the place, when in fact they are not, because not all those that wander are lost.
And again, both of these speak about judgment, right?
Yes.
People love to jump to conclusions. So, not everything that you see looking gold glittery, or not because I look like I'm not going anywhere means I'm not progressing.
Exactly.
I might be wandering, but I'm not lost.
Yes.
Stop passing judgments.
The oil that is strong does not wither. Because sometimes we see things, and you know what this year reminds me of? Like, I thought about this, and sometimes, quality. Sometimes you may have, maybe, let's say, an old vehicle. But sometimes the old vehicles that we have, because of the quality, these are strong vehicles. They're stronger than the new ones that we got
Let
now.
me tell you. That's a perfect analogy, because they be making trash recently.
Yes. So regardless of age, once that thing is strong, it does not
It
wither.
doesn't wither.
It
Yep.
stays.
Yep.
It is maintained. And I like this one.
That one is my favorite.
This one now. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. You have to be grounded. You understand? You have to be grounded in whatever you're doing, even though above the ground there might be so many things going on. Once you're grounded internally, things might be going on at a surface level, and you're not affected because
Exactly.
you keep those values.
Deep
you
roots.
keep deep roots.
You mean like trolls and stuff like that?
So I'm going to say it one more time. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The oil that is strong does not wither. deep roots and not reached by the frost.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as Azard and I have.
Yes. I think I'm going to look at that,
I just saw
mentally.
something popped in saying that there's a disturbance in the Atlantic and it could become a tropical depression.
Wow.
We've been having like really weird weather for the last few days. I mean, I've been happy for the rain. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but I've actually been happy for the rain. But here and across the world, because I look at the weather in the morning on ABC,
Yes.
and they have been having horrible bouts of heat. I think they said Phoenix has had 110 degrees temperature for the last 3-4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So now Mets across the region are monitoring a tropical wave that has a 60% chance of becoming a tropical depression. In the forecast this morning, the U.S. National Hurricane Center said rainfall activity associated with the wave has increased. Wow.
Wow.
Environmental conditions are expected to be favorable for gradual development of the system during the next few days, and a tropical depression could form early next week while the system moves generally west-northwestward over the tropical Atlantic. The wave is located in the central Atlantic Ocean between the Lesser Antilles and the Capo Verde Islands. If the storm develops, it would be the 6th tropical depression of this year's hurricane season. Listen, we have Culturama coming up, okay? So just blow and go on about your business. I don't even understand. I mean, I know we're in hurricane season, but could the weather just give us a little break? We're happy for the rain. We don't need anything else. This is just like extra.
Mm-hmm. And there's, as you see, so many things are happening on the sea, and going to an academic level in the region again. CXC unable to say how math paper leak affected pass rate. So the Caribbean Examination Council said it's too early to say whether the pass rate for the 2023 Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Mathematics paper dropped as a result of its decisions not to map paper 2 after it was leaked online. So according to the Director of Operations, he told reporters that the marking process is ongoing and a full analysis will be available when the results are released on August 24th.
You know, in young people parlance, they got some licks. They got beat bad this year. Like CXC has been tormented this year. I've never seen, so many issues, leaking, this, that. It's just been a horrible year for them.
Yeah.
But I hope, as they're saying, that it does not affect the pass rate of the students. For those students who genuinely studied and, worked hard to pass these exams, this leak is just like a shot in the leg. So I really hope it doesn't affect them.
In our time for mathematics, we didn't have a SBA.
I know.
They had a SBA. They have SBAs now.
Yeah, I think that's gonna save a good amount of them.
And then they didn't have to worry about it paper 2. For me, I think the paper 2 was the harder paper. Out of the 2
is what the
2 is the structured.
Structured.
Yeah, to me the multiple. Some people, I think
multiple choice is a little bit more annoying because of course they're gonna put 2 options that are really close. So if you better don't guess, you better do it.
But you see, I always like multiple choice because you always figure out what they're trying to trick you. So if you figure out the trick, you know not to go into that direction.
I see.
And if you know the material, you could easily come up with the answer, what appears to be the closest answer. I always like the multiple choice.
Well, I will be very honest. Going to school, I was not a math person. I am definitely more literature, English, history, the arts. But you know what I discovered? Math is easier than all of those. Because if you do the working, if you work it out, you'll get the answer. With literature, it's left up to interpretation.
That's why a lot of people like the paper 2s too, because they say, at least do something, do some side.
Exactly.
If multiple choice is either right or wrong. If you're doing the paper 2, they will mark you based on what you have presented, even though the final answer is incorrect.
As a former English teacher, I would like to say math is easier. I often tell people that know me, I tell them, listen, the only math I like is money math.
Yes.
That one I'm really good at.
So the students will be marked in the categories of knowledge, comprehension, and reasoning. So
when results come out on the 24th,
yeah,
right?
And he says, when questioned about the fairness of using the SPA and paper 3, since they are done under different conditions, because what happened, some persons will be using the SPA. If you're a private student, you'll be using the paper 3. The SBA, you carry that, you are graded by the teacher, you have an opportunity to rework it, whereas the paper 3 is like an exam. Yeah, you're under exam conditions, basically.
I don't know which one they prefer, but
So persons are wondering if it is that you're going on the paper 3, which is you come in at a time you didn't do the the SBA.
Yeah.
And so you have to sit that paper in under exam conditions as well to fill in for that extra percentage. So it's gonna be, I guess it's only considered now because you're going against a SBA and a paper 1 and now a paper 3 and a paper 1. So I guess with the exclusion of paper 2, people are wondering now if given the dynamics, if it's going to be fair.
Can you already see queries arising when people get their marks?
There are always queries. So you imagine these.
It's going to be an interesting summer.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
On the local scene.
Oh, they say here, St. Kitts and Nevis to offer kidney transplants at local hospital.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so locally.
Didn't we allude to that? I think Mrs. Henry was saying that yesterday.
So it says Prime Minister Drew said kidney transplant surgeries would soon be available at the JNF General Hospital in St. Kitts and Nevis. It says Drew provided the update while appearing on Freedom FM's issue program yesterday. Wow, Loop News already has the article from it was posted 21 hours ago. And he says, it is for the people who cannot catch a plane, and this is a quote from him, it is for the people who cannot catch a plane and go overseas. These people are dying sooner than they should because they don't have access to transplants. I cannot allow our people to die when we have the opportunity to save their lives, he said. He also goes on to say, I quote, I would encourage our people to eat well, exercise, keep their pressure under control, your sugar, change their lifestyle. But in the event that they develop end-stage renal disease, we want to make sure that they have an option for renal transplant, and we're going to launch the renal transplant program. It says that, end of quote, it says also that Drew added that a team from Canada would visit the country soon to train the staff at the hemodialysis unit on the proper use of the dialysis machines that they recently received.
Not bad. I'm always happy to see progress, so happy to see that. So I saw another article. So I see you're 21 and raise you 18.
Okay, no problem.
18 hours ago. SK and PM tell shoppers to choose cheaper products when buying groceries.
Cheaper products.
Choose cheaper products. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Terence Drew has told islanders that they can make small and simple changes to reduce their monthly food bills. Speaking on Freedom FM's Issues program on Wednesday, the Prime Minister said one step could be looking at alternatives to brand name products since it can help a dollar to go further. He added, I want to encourage people to grow some of your food in your yards because this can help you to save. For example, over the COVID period, I took care of my banana trees and so forth and was able to have bananas. So we have to also do our part to deal with the cost of living and the cost of food. Drew said he has spoken with local imports such as Rams and Odi Brisbane to discuss the price of products and what could be done to make them more affordable for consumers. According to Drew, the importers said the brand consumers choose plays a part in their bills. I spoke with the director of Rams and he sent me a list of the cost of branded stuff compared to those that are not branded, and there is a significant difference. So people do have some level of choice. Nonetheless, one has to acknowledge that there has been an increase in food prices, amen, as a result of the pandemic. Supply chains and transportation costs because of fuel and so forth, and that has affected all countries in the world, and that has affected St. Kitts and Nevis as well, he stated. Drew said his government has implemented a number of measures to make living affordable. We have capped freight to make sure that the transportation of food is at the lowest cost. And if we have to cap it more, we will cap it more. We've also capped gasoline so that transportation costs of food across the island would not be extremely expensive, and also to make sure that our people can commute without an excessively high cost of gasoline. And so the government has taken a hit in order to make sure that our people have access to affordable gasoline. Freight charges for 20-foot and 40-foot dry food and cold storage containers have been capped at the 2019 pre-COVID rates, while the temporary reduction in the excise tax from $2.25 per gallon to 95 cents per gallon has been extended until December 31st, 2023. The Prime Minister said the Cost of Living Task Force will continue to engage stakeholders to find solutions to issues facing islanders.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we have a call. We're going to allow our caller to weigh in. We've discussed certain topics and highlighted certain issues. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, good morning, host and hostess.
Good morning to you,
How are
sir.
you?
How are you?
Oh, there's always room for improvement.
Amen.
Yes.
I do like Dr. Joe approach in those matters in terms of using nutrition, quality against quantity, and choices that we have. It is my view that most of the things that we use that get into our body, we take it and it passes all of our senses, like our smell, our eyes, and our ears and everything, and we take our hand and we slip it down our mouth and we eat it. But at the end of the day, those things that we eat could have serious consequence on our action for the things that we eat. And I like the way, I wish he would somewhat push more nutrition than medicine though, because I think that the prevention will help more than searching for a cure. Mm-hmm. I wish that everybody in the society in which we live should do more to help themselves, to stay healthy. Exercise, we have lots of it, fresh air outside here. We have lots of fruits like mangoes right now. Eat it, drink water, and cut back on the purchasing. But the other thing is that if, in a sense, that government going to remove certain level of taxes from food, just moving it don't help, because we know that Dr. Timothy Harris administration removed VAT from food, and we only feel the effect for that for 1 week. So what will be the level of control that is put in place in terms of percentage those supermarket people make, what is expected of them based on the item that they have purchased? When government have take cut in revenue in those areas, the public should benefit. And if the public are not benefiting from those cuts, then they shouldn't take it to line their pocket with it. They should not get the benefit. And so to me, even though you do the relief, I felt in my mind that Dr. Timothy Harris government administration did not go far enough to police the reduction of VAT from the food to make sure that the public get due recognition and benefit from those areas. That is my view. I think I have said enough for now on that matter. So continue to educate people and see where we go from here. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Thanks for that contribution. And I like some of his points, that even if you're going to cap it and there's going to be a reduction, then you still have to be conscious of what you're purchasing. Just like Dr. Drew said, it doesn't always have to be name brand. I know sometimes we feel like we don't know this brand, it might be inferior, you want to go for the one that you see, I guess, on television. But yeah. I know I actually listened to, I think it was his roundtable speech, and he was comparing just different food products that are made in the Caribbean as opposed to the same ones that are made in the US. And so they're basically the same thing. So I think it's good judgment all around. You know, it's been capped, but that doesn't mean that you can now go back to your same old spending habits. So change the way you shop. So I like that advice.
Yeah, I mean, we have to consider. We have to consider our shopping options. Someone just sent me a message because we were talking about the kidney transplants, and they said, I only just tuned in. I was mad when I listened to Drew, who is a doctor, state that we will be able to do kidney transplants in the Federation. People will no longer have to jump on a plane and go abroad for a kidney, his words. He says, does he know how many persons abroad have to wait for a kidney? Where will we get the kidneys from? So the person is basically saying that even if we do it here, as it is done overseas, that those persons overseas still have a long wait to get a kidney, because even though they go overseas, there's a waiting process. So is it that we're going to have kidneys laying up here?
I am pretty sure that's not what Dr. Drew meant.
Mm-hmm.
There's a process to everything. You have to go through tests. You got to look for donors. There's a waiting list, just like everywhere else in the world. So I think sometimes when we hear these things, we think that it's going to happen automatically. But I believe, as a medical doctor, that he knows the process. He just means that you're now able to go through that process that happens overseas here. At least that's my opinion, right? Jamster, I know we discussed a clip. Do you have it ready? Awesome. So after we come back from the break.
Yes.
All right, then. Stay tuned.
So we'll take a short break and come back with you. Island Tea.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is again giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back for free groceries with every hire purchase. Will be given back this coupon season. Happening now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back coupons to all our hire purchase customers this coupon season. Starting now until December 2023. You get absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase at our Horseman's Furniture and Appliances stores on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. So riddle this. Where can you get quality furniture and appliances at great prices with a flexible FlexPlay plan and with absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase? Riddle that. Cashback at Horseman's Furniture and Appliances on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is giving you over $250,000 in cashback and a chance to win free groceries for a year. Riddle that cashback. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Antigua Carnival 2023, the Caribbean's greatest summer festival. Join us from July 27th to August 8th for 13 days of pure music, mass, and creativity. Get ready for the iron and the brass, the soca and the sun, the sand and the sea, all in one. Antigua Carnival, where the magic happens. Be there July 27th to August 8th. Antigua Carnival is calling.
Caribbean numbers, come and play. Just one single dollar, that is the way. You can pick one number or two or three. I win up to 20,000, you see. 3 ways to play, 3 draws a day, 3 ways to win. Hear what we say. Caribbean numbers is the easiest game to play.
The new Caribbean numbers.
So play today.
At any Caribbean lottery agent island-wide.
So play today.
All right, and we're back. I know Dwyer's recent... Is it the most recent one, Jamster? All right, Dwyer's most recent commentary was speaking about the whole price aspect. So we wanted to play a little piece of that and then, if possible, go into discussion.
Yeah. So while we
still
wait,
loading.
yeah, it's still loading. So okay. So we are going to hear some of what former Minister of Government has to say.
Greetings. On July 19th, 2023, that's last week, United Kingdom government issued a statement of changes in its immigration rules by taking away visa-free access for people holding passports of Dominica and other countries. The UK government said that careful consideration of Dominica's Citizenship by Investment program had revealed clear and evident abuse, including the granting of citizenships to persons known to pose a risk to the United Kingdom. The UK government also said that it took the decision mainly for migration and border security reasons. That decision regarding Dominica is very relevant to us because we too have a citizenship by investment program. Now, this is not the first time that there's been talk of these things and action by foreign governments with regard to our jurisdictions. Some of you will recall back in 2014 when the United States Treasury Department issued an advisory against us. Two of the major concerns, if I recall correctly, were one, people were getting passports who had been on the terrorist list, and secondly, the place of birth field had been removed from our passports. And the US Treasury Department said, no, we cannot tolerate this. So they issued an advisory, and it still stands today. And in that same year, 2014, Canada ended its visa waiver entry for people holding our passports. We see some measures to turn that around have begun, but nowhere near completed. And there was also concern by the Americans and the Canadians and others that bad people might be changing their names and applying for and getting our passports under different identities. So this problem of bad actors, unsavory characters, persons who the governments of those countries consider to be a threat to their national interests is not a new problem. And those bad actors and unsavory characters who got our citizenship by way of investment were not the only ones causing concern for those foreign governments. Some bad actors also got citizenship by marriage in St. Kitts and Nevis, using the cheap route. One of them, infamously, Hush Puppy from Nigeria, got his passport in 19 days. Fake marriage. He's in a US jail serving an 11-year sentence. Now, a little background. I'm not going to go into detail about the one-man show that was pretty much our citizenship by investment program in the 1980s and early 90s. Instead, I'm going to start in 2006 when the SIDF was introduced. Three groups of people from then to now have caused us to be where we are today, facing the risk of near total closure of our CBI program. First, the bad actors who got our passports. Second, the decision makers who allowed the bad actors to get our passports. Some of those bad actors even got diplomatic passports. The same decision makers who, whether through incompetence or deliberateness, failed to serve and protect the best interests of the people of this country by not regulating the industry as tightly as they should have done. The same decision makers who, over the 16 years between 2006 and 2022, misspent hundreds of millions of dollars from the public purse, squandering the opportunity and demonstrating reckless disregard for their mandate to use that money to build the foundation for a new green and blue economy and a dignified and progressive and prosperous society. And the third group of people who have caused us to be where we are today, developers, agents, and service providers who made lots and lots of money helping these bad actors get our passports. And these developers, agents, and other service providers who, driven by greed, engineered the race to the bottom with the lowering of pricing below the legal limits, accelerating the race to the bottom for us. All three groups have embarrassed our passports and our country. Their accumulated badness has put us in this difficult and calamitous situation where we face the real threat of losing visa-free access to the UK and Europe, and thereby seeing the drying up of by far the largest single source of cash flowing into our country. Arrogance, incompetence, corruption, and greed. And see where we are today, with our present Prime Minister and his team scrambling earnestly to save us from this calamity. You may not think it is a calamity. You may not even be a supporter of the CBI. But if this dries up and you will start missing the benefits of the CBI, then you might understand. The last two previous prime ministers had been warned time and again and urged to tidy up the program.
So,
So that's not necessarily the one we were expecting. I was trying to get the one where he spoke about pricing, right? But since you raised it, good segue. Yesterday, the CBI passed a bunch of new regulations, and I think somewhere I saw that it was based on the meeting that they had with the U.S. government. If you recall,
Yes.
a few weeks back, there was a meeting held with Caribbean CBI countries, and they agreed on 6 principles proposed by the U.S.
yes.
So the new regs were passed based on the outcome of this meeting.
And-
But I think we have a call.
Yeah, we have a call. Caller, you're live on you're live on Island T. I keep saying inside the news.
Good morning
Yes.
to everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And where is Jamster? You try him out?
But Jamster is the one doing all our technical stuff.
Yes.
But we wouldn't unless we hear him, you understand? Just like we don't try you out, I want to try him back out too.
Nah, that would never happen.
Hi. Now, last night, good morning to everybody, all the listeners at home and abroad.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I was listening to Straight Talk with Patches,
Yes.
and he went into the detail of the 6 points that I thought he said was the UK.
No, it was the U.S. They had a meeting with the U.S.
Right. And they outlined some steps which should have been taken a long time ago. The only thing is, they talk about the money. All monies should be paid into the local system, to the government. And the money should not be kept abroad, which we know happen. He says the
Who
money
spoke
is
about the
diverted
money
into-
being kept abroad? Patches said that the money was being kept abroad and not paid locally?
The U.S. said
Oh, the U.S., okay.
that the money, all monies, whether the donation or for the investment, must be deposited in the domestic system. Right? Whether to the banks or to the government. And should not be kept abroad, where it is often diverted into private accounts. Maybe we need to get that section there. Then they talk about getting the price
looking at
back
the
up
6
to where it
points.
was. The investment should be kept at 400. The contribution should be kept at no lower than 200. The names, and there should be personal interviews. So the people who you issuing these things, you must interview them orally, not just passing things. All the papers should be sent to the domestic country. And I said, sometimes we bring these things on ourselves.
But Ms. Henry, if I could just interject, I am looking at the 6 things that the U.S. and the CBI countries discussed, and they are collective agreement on treatment of denials, interviews, additional checks, audits, retrieval of passports, and treatment of Russians and Belarusians. So some of the things that you mentioned earlier are not necessarily on this list. I think I see interviews, But some of the things that you mentioned earlier are not on the
Well,
list.
maybe you should check.
And I
that
read
other
the
source.
entire.
I quoted.
Yeah, I read the entire regulations last night, the new ones that were passed, and so they have more or less complied with what was requested.
So that
in
the
this
price will go
agreement.
up, back up to
The price has
200?
gone back up to 400,000.
Right, and the contribution back up to 200. That's what I'm telling you.
No, it used to. It was 200,000.
It was 250.
It was 200,000 as of what is today's date? The 29th, the 28th. So as of the 26th, I want to say it was 200,000. It's gone up to 400,000. Back up to 400,000.
No, I don't mean the fixed investment. I mean the contribution.
The contribution is 250,000. But they had a limited time offer that expired. And so with the limited time offer, of course, it was less because, it's an offer. So it's now up to 250,000.
Right, 'cause that's what I said, get it back up.
Yeah.
Because even though I spoke about it, while legally it was 250, they're selling it for much less.
The contribution?
The contributions. And that is why they said, look, get it back up. And you must know who you're giving these passports to, not just the documents.
I don't
You
know
must
if you
have
had
an interview.
If you had listened, Monday, I think Azard and I were speaking about it, and I was just a little bit confused. And I even drew an analogy because the due diligence is done by overseas companies, right? And the due diligence is sent to Interpol and to FBI. And the FBI and Interpol, once they clear these applicants, they send back the results and they're free to be approved for citizenship. So I'm just a little bit confused that they're quoting that security is a reason when the FBI is one of the agencies that the security goes through. It's like you're telling me that...
What they were saying also was that this name change. Sometimes the name
I understand
change.
the name change. I can agree with that aspect, but I am just always baffled when they quote security as a reason because they're the persons who clear the security. So if you're clearing the security using your system, but you're telling me security is a reason, it shows that you have no confidence in your system, is it? I understand the name change
not quite,
aspect,
no, listen
but...
to what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. They're saying after these people acquire the citizenship, they then turn around and use the passport as a way of getting, what is the word? Not amnesty, what you call it?
Not sure.
Where they want to stay. The same thing like what the Africans and the other one want. What is the
refugee?
word coming?
You don't mean asylum?
You mean asylum and refugee?
Right. That is the problem. That is where the security part is.
I've never heard that.
That these people are coming in, using our passports, and then turn around and apply for asylum. Well, what is our situation that would cause them to apply for asylum in another man's country? Because they're petitions. What political or whatever unrest or situation in St. Kitts and Nevis that will make them eligible to apply for asylum?
This is something that was said on the show that you were listening to last night, right? Because
no. I am doing my own analysis.
Ah, okay.
So what do you think about that? Isn't that a security issue?
I personally would like to see evidence of that was just stated.
That's what the British say.
Like I said, I kind of want to see evidence of that because
But
I
that's
know
what they say that these people are coming in.
Most of the
Most
persons...
likely they're coming from their home country, right? And then the same thing like how some people had tried to claim that they were being discriminated in St. Kitts because they were gay. And when the Canadians investigated, it wasn't so. There's nothing in this country that will cause them personal harm.
Let me just say one thing. Why I'm so skeptical about accepting some of these claims without proof. And I mean, of course, it's not up to me.
But the country's supposed to ask for it. Our government should ask, give us the names. I have said, give us the names of the people who are applying for asylum.
But wait, Ms. Henry, my whole issue with that is the St. Kitts Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program is not for everyone. The price alone sets us apart. And I think one of the aims was that the price be around the same price for all the other islands. So most of the persons that apply for citizenship are high net worth individuals. So for these persons to turn around now, use the passport and go and try to claim a refugee status or asylum, to me it's just a little bit ludicrous because these persons just want the passport for ease of travel.
That is just my point. What is happening in St. Kitts? Why they feel insecure or whatever? Why? Because that's what it boils down to, you know.
Well, you know, that's one of the things I told Jamster. For me, it's not even as much security as it is that it's competition and they're trying to put their foot on the necks of the competition.
That might be it, but if you give people loopholes, they will use it.
All right.
Now, let me get to Dr. You're going to get you quick.
Yeah, because somebody else is on the line. Oh, Jamster is asking if you could call back.
Yes.
All right, let me tell you. Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning. It should be clear to all now that the places like the European Union, North America, do not like citizenship programs. Okay, one, they feel that first of all, we normally quote U.S. dollars, for instance, or euros, or those kinds of currencies. Pounds.
Yeah, the program is quoted in U.S. Yeah.
Right, and that in itself rings alarm bells, and they don't like the idea that millions, perhaps billions of their dollars are essentially going to the control of smaller countries. They don't like it one bit. They bring this, to me, they introduce the security concerns as smoke screens because they know that there are international rules, for instance, WTO rules governing trade between countries, and I guess it incorporates transactions between countries. And so they don't want to infringe those, even though when they do infringe them, as in the case with Antigua's internet gambling, they just ignore it. But they want to stay above board. So the security concerns, I think, is the fig leaf, right? Because if you look at it, right, how many people have been caught in the security net since these programs?
Precisely.
Exactly.
I think I asked that on our show Monday, like how many terrorists have they actually pinned from our end of the program? Not even when I say our, not just St. Kitts, I mean the other countries in the Caribbean that do CBI.
Yes, right. And I would venture to say that the regular banking system have more of those, is infiltrated with more of those kinds of people than the CBI programs because of the fact that so much due diligence is done. And as you pointed out, it's done by them or their agencies. Okay, so there really is not a reason. What I think galls them too is the fact that essentially we are using the strength of their currency, and when I use currency now, not so much in monetary terms, but in terms of the people wanting to access their countries, people wanting to go there, do business there, live there. Yeah. We are using that as a selling point, and you notice that the European Union were very explicit in saying that no, you can't advertise, you can't promote our countries. I mean, access to our countries in your programs, right? You know that really galls them because they have their citizenship programs. So it's not a matter of jealousy or anything. It is probably still a drop in the bucket. But I don't know the size of the industry now, but it's probably billions. And anytime you have billions,
it's
moving,
an issue. Yeah.
It's a red flag. Yeah. You know, so we can look forward to more of these things. They would pick and pick and pick until they virtually appointed themselves the regulators of the industry. Everybody have to follow suit.
True.
You know,
thank you so much.
No negotiation or nothing. They just do that. Okay.
Yes, we're going for a break, and then we come back with our Ministry of Agriculture. So stay tuned, guys.
Yes, guys.
It's here! The final member of the Scratch and Win Multiplier Suite. You can win over $875,000 in cash prizes with the new 20X The Cash game from the Caribbean Lottery. This excellent new $5 game is an easy way for you to multiply your money. You can even play it with our other multiplier games like 50X and 100X The Cash to maximize your winnings. So, play the new Scratch game, 20X The Cash, today. Available at Caribbean Lottery retail agents island-wide. Must be ages 21 and over to play.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
The biggest party in sport is back for 2023. And the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots will need your support at Warner Park. CPL will be bigger, better and louder than ever before. And this year, the Patriots are ready to bounce back and claim the title once again. The games are between the 23rd and 27th of August. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com.
Brilliantly taken.
Join the party. Experience cricket played louder.
Get ready for the biggest sales event of the year. It's the Horsewood Furniture and Appliances major sales event where we're slashing prices by 20% off on all major appliances. Are you looking for amazing deals on refrigerators, stoves, large appliances, washing machines, and even microwaves? Well, look no further. From the latest models to top brands, Horsewood Furniture and Appliances has it all at unbeatable prices. Whether you're upgrading your kitchen or replacing old appliances, this is the perfect opportunity to get major savings and save big. These deals won't last forever. This is a limited time opportunity to snag the appliance of your dreams at 20% off and get double cashback coupons with every purchase. Don't miss out. The Horsewood Furniture and Appliances major appliances sales event where quality meets affordability. Don't miss out on the biggest discounts on refrigerators, stoves, large appliances, washing machines, and microwaves. Hurry in today and make your home a major delight. Major savings, major discounts, 20% off on major appliances, plus double cash back for free groceries. Happening now at Horsewood Furniture and Appliances. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Enjoy the convenience of getting all your documents in one place. At the TDC Copy and Print Center on 4th Street in Basse-Terre, we do just that. We offer document formatting, graphic design, and copy and print services. Our team of professionals truly understand all your needs, whether it be administrative, professional, academic, or personal. You bring it, we deliver it with quality every time. Visit the TDC Copy and Print Center today in the TDC Mall on 4th Street in Basse-Terre or call 465-2511. Your copy and print specialists are waiting to serve you.
Good morning.
Right.
Welcome back to Island Tea, and we have some guests in studio this morning. We have the Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, and we also have the Permanent Secretary in Agriculture, Miguel Fleming. So we do have a very, special audience here special guests as well, special audience listening. And so we want to invite both of them on Island Tea. I think this is the first time they've been on Island Tea since we've been here. Yes.
I am so happy that you're here.
Yes.
Long overdue visit, right?
I know.
So tell us, how are you guys doing today? Miguel?
Oh, no, I'm lovely. I'm happy to be here, and to share with you, what's happening in agriculture.
Awesome. And I'm excited to hear what you guys have to tell us today. So tell us why you're visiting us.
Well, today, and again, good morning to my esteemed friend, and I see now radio personality.
I know.
I've seen your journey from pageantry to business to now we're here. Look at you.
I know, just spreading my wings.
Yes.
Following you.
Businesswoman. And of course, my other esteemed friend.
Yeah, so are you, sir?
Young lawyer, and I don't know if I'm at liberty to mention Mr. Chairman
yes.
of the People's Action Movement.
Of course.
And I do know you to be a very active member of the branch, but that's a different capacity.
Story. Yes.
But again, we are here in the room with friends.
Yes.
Long-standing friends. And it's always a good thing to be in the presence of people of comfort. But today, it's about agriculture.
It is. I mean, and we've had our show that is called, the Farmers Show, because it's a paid program by the consortium that they come and they express their views. And so perhaps as we go through the interview this morning, we could touch on some of those views that they would have highlighted.
Correct. And I'm happy that you mentioned that too, because I've heard much talk about it, right?
Yes. And we've always wanted to get your side.
Correct. And it's registered as the Farmers Report.
Yes.
I think it should be clear that's the consortium's report.
Oh, so you're saying that they only represent a certain number of the farmers?
Correct. Okay. It's an organized group, one of many, and a respected group, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But I don't think they speak for
all the farmers.
Okay.
And I'm happy you said that, though, because, when it started out, we had just, one person come in. We had one person come in initially, and then another person, and then we kept saying, we need to hear from other farmers, because it can't be a problem existing if there's only one person. So it has grown. Yeah. So hence the consortium. But I'm happy that you're here, because I remember meeting you and saying, please come on the show, because we want to get your voice. We want to hear the other side. Every story has at least 3 sides. And so I'm happy that you're finally here, because we need to get that other aspect, because there needs to be balance.
Correct.
Right? So
and what we like to provide here at WIN FM is a safe space for individuals to express their views, because persons in government, if they might have a dissenting view against something that's happening in government, the other stations may not be as comfortable a place for them, especially when you look at, let's say, ZIZ, or you look at SKNIS, which are government-run entities. Persons might feel that here is a safe space, and we like to create a safe space for all involved. Government officials, because we have numerous government officials here, and also persons outside of government. So we always want to create that safe space for individuals to share their opinions and views.
Correct, and that's indeed important, and I want to say this. I do hope that no other station would be barring people from sharing their views. I mean, even I myself, and the PS could attest to this, I've given all these farmers and groups a place. With the consortium, I sat with them for near 3 hours by themselves. And in some other meetings, same length of time, at least three other meetings outside of their own personal meeting. And at no time it was less than 2 hours.
Good grief. That in and of itself says that there are matters that need to be addressed. The hours alone tell you that it was intense.
But interestingly, I don't know if the matters were put forward.
Oh, no. At least the ones that are presented here, so they're not repeated there.
No.
Well, then we definitely have a disconnect.
When we have some of the farmers here, and I can think about what they have been saying, it seems to be, to me, a discussion where it is that they are saying that there's no communication really happening between the Ministry and Minister of Agriculture and the consortium. They mentioned a meeting that they had, and they said it seemed like a top-down approach rather than a conversation. It is the ministry that is really telling them what to do from a top-down, big stick kind of policy kind of thing.
And you see, these are the things that come out in the media that are a little bit, in my opinion, disingenuous. Because let's take the meeting that I had with the consortium along with my permanent secretary. The agenda was set by the consortium. They came in with, I think it was 4 points, and then they opted not to discuss one of the 4. So we discussed 3. They opted. They set the agenda. We had a near 3 hour, over 3 hour, because we got there at 5. I didn't leave there until maybe minutes to 9.
Wow.
In the evening.
Wow.
With their agenda. So then how do you come from that to say there's no communication? That is a top-down approach. I don't understand. And so these are the things that sometimes people get onto the media and they project, and maybe because there's an audience, you know, because I know there was one farmer again who is very vocal on the media, and I remember him seeing me, and just his expression says to me that it's more about the attention. It's like, you hear me on the radio, boy? You hear me? You hear me? You hear me? You hear me? And I'm like,
where the
what?
intro?
Yeah, like, we're here to talk food security. And for me, I try to make this separate from the politics, from everything else. I want this to be an agenda by itself because it's a real problem.
Because I have said, and I've said it with the farmers here when you weren't here, and I could say it when you were here, that I have said that with the Ministry of Agriculture, when I saw that you had that ministry, being a farmer yourself, I thought that that ministry would be booming and there wouldn't be this sort of disgruntled atmosphere, attitude between farmers and the minister and the ministry. So I have said that because of I know that you're into farming yourself.
Correct.
Right, and that was my impression as well. I was like, okay, perfect. Because, you know, sometimes when they assign ministries, I feel like some persons are not really in check with it. Like, for instance, Jeffrey to education was kind of like a no-brainer. And so when Samal got agriculture, that was also a no-brainer. So I was like, perfect. He's into farming. This should be great. Right. And then we started getting all of these reports, and I was like, what's going on here?
But let us be mindful that there's a process, right?
Of
Government
course.
is a process, and we need to work the system. And even in our conversation with the consortium, we made that clear. I mean, one of the things that they raised was duty-free concessions, and I made them aware that there was a memorandum of understanding from 2010. And tractors and tillers and all those type of things, vehicles were part of that memorandum of understanding, but tractor parts is not listed. And I said to them, let us have a meeting with the person who is responsible, and let us now, forge that way forward and say, look, we want to have these included and see, what is their response and see how we can work around it. So it's never a case where we don't want to work with them, but again, it's a process. And one of them even said, no, we're not taking no for an answer. And I mean, you can see, that kind of aggression. So the intention is never not to give them a voice. I think very early, when I was announced as a permanent secretary, they reached out to me. They were not very organized at the time. Some of the persons were not able to make the meeting, but I have always made myself available. And the minutes I can remember from the meeting, I said to them, how often do you want to meet? Right? I asked them that. I said, let us have a date. I don't want to do it haphazardly. Let us set a date so we know every 2 weeks we are meeting.
Right, and something to work towards. Right.
Yes, right. So I made myself available, and the ministry is open to work with anybody.
And this is what I want people to understand, that let's look at it objectively. Agriculture, as we would look at it now, has been established in this way, I would say, predominantly from about 2005, when we left sugar, which would have been our main driving force. Since 2005, I don't think the figures have changed drastically. We have consistently been producing somewhere around, let's say, 10 to 15% of what we consume, roughly. And it hasn't changed drastically. I am now here as a Minister of Agriculture. I happened to come into office at a time while I was Agriculture Man of the Year.
Oh, yes, remember that.
So then that gave me an added responsibility. Like you said, agriculture should change.
Yes.
I believe it would be insanity to do the same things that near 20 years proven to be a failure and then come back and do it again. So what did we do? We went and we took a deep dive. What are the issues? Because from my years in audio engineering, Jamsa would tell you, before you start looking at what do you add, you look at what you could subtract. And so we recognize we have a feral animal problem, huge problem. How do we fix that? Because based on the numbers, I think about 25 to 30% of what we attempt to produce is lost feral animals. That doesn't account for the idea of the animals reducing the enthusiasm of a farmer to continue to produce. We're not even counting that. We're talking about the farmers who try to produce who lose. They're 25, 30%, if I remember the numbers correctly. And then on the back end, you have another set of matters where post-harvest loss, where once the fruit has ripened before consumption, another near 60% is lost there. So my thinking is, okay, if we could start fixing these problems, that's already 25, that's already 60 that you can attack. How do you fix that? And then, look at the drought. How can we increase production? How can we increase water supply? How can we battle climate change? And so these are the things that we started thinking about. And so when we said greenhouse villages, it's not just because we want to sound like we're doing something. How do you battle climate change? Hydroponics is known to use 90% less water. So if you have a water problem, what do you go into? Something that uses less water. It is also intensive farming, which you could produce more crops in a smaller space.
Correct.
If you want to increase production on a small country, what do you use? Intensive farming that could produce more in a smaller space. But what were the realities prior to us? The government had invested in greenhouses over the last 10 years. When we sought to look at some of these greenhouses, less than 20%, I think it is.
Correct.
Less than 20% are functional today, within 10 years. And we are not at liberty to go and do much with them because they are on people's property. So we said, we can't go back down that road right now. So our first thing was cluster them into a community on government's property, lease them to farmers. If the farmer becomes disinterested, they move out and no farmer moves in. Productivity remains. Because I'm here for productivity. I'm here for food security. Once we would have done that and rolled out that, then of course we could then look to put them on other people's farm. But I can't go back to do what has proven to have failed and then tell myself that somehow it's going to succeed.
A lot of the issues that the farmers will have had, Minister, is the fact that, one, I hear them speaking about the tractors. I hear them speaking about the supermarkets and having their goods at the supermarkets as well. What response do you have in relation to those issues?
So I've been here now 11 months. And the tractor problem is a long-standing problem. I'm happy to report that that's a part of what we are doing. I have secured the funds, and we are now ordering 2 new tractors.
Yes, I did see that, because I know on the last farmers report, they complained that there were 18 on island, but 17 are down. And I just thought that was crazy. But then I remember just a few minutes ago, you mentioned that tractors were listed, but not tractor parts. So, it's a process, like you said, getting to those. Yes. And then, of course, we heard that one of the companies that made tractors had gone out of business. They had been bought out. So I understand that it's not just, like I think I was telling Azard earlier in the day, it's not going to happen automatically.
Correct.
But I did see that you guys were able to procure 2 tractors. So hopefully they get here soon, and that alleviates some of the land prep issue that has been a plague to the farmers.
Correct, and that's part of the issue. I'm also discussing with the Ministry of Public Works, who holds currently the responsibility of repairing our tractors, as to how we can make that process more efficient. And that conversation is going quite healthily. And I believe in short order, we'll have our tractors repaired more expeditiously. But these are long-standing issues that we have to go through and find a mechanism to fix. And we are finding the mechanisms. Like I said, it's been 11 months, and these are some of the steps towards success that we could speak to.
Another issue that the farmers would have had is the fact that we know that there was a change in government, a change in administration, so to speak, and there have been new persons into the position.
Yes.
One of the contention, or one of the point is that these would have been issues that farmers were facing for a long time. At this point in time, and many of them frustrated. What they are saying is that with the new faces, it's like they're going over the same issues again. And so that is why some of their frustration is coming in.
And that's one thing, honestly. That's one point. But let us be fair. Regardless of how long the matter has gone on, if there's someone new in the position and the person is now saying, I want to take a different approach because this time I want to see success, they must be given the respect to share the information.
Correct.
That's all we ask for, the respect. Because at the end of the day, while we are looking for this information, it's not just to say we are asking you the same questions. We now see that we need to take a different approach. We need the data. So we invite you into meetings. We invite you to trainings. We send our extension officers out. We go out. I've been on many farms. I've had many meetings with agriculture, farmers, fishers, in my office, organized group meetings, training sessions, and I've been there. But the whole idea is to gather data. I'm not the only data gatherer. We have extension officers. Every single point person in the ministry gathers data. When we go abroad and we talk to organizations, they share information. We collate all that data and we look at the best way forward.
There has also been speculations as it relates to the relationship between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Finance, whereby I don't know where persons will get their information, but there has been some allegation that the relationship is not the best, especially as it relates to perhaps even the tractors that you would have managed to get. Is there any truth to this?
I have no idea what that conversation is.
Mm-hmm. The government has a process, and there's a system in place, and they need to work the system.
So
right?
my question would be, now that you guys have, you've been gathering data,
Right.
It's been 11 months, and I know you're not just minister of one ministry,
Right.
but it's been 11 months. I have heard from extension officer, we've had extension officer in studio, I think Lionel Stevens,
Right.
and he's come to studio, he's made presentations as well. Do you guys now have some sort of plan in place? Because I know there was a launch yesterday about the 25 by 25.
Yes.
And that is something that has been discussed quite frequently on the farm report. So I kind of want to get into that so we could figure out, okay, this is the way forward. We've gathered all the data and this is what we're going to do.
What we're going to do. And that's exactly it. That was the essence of what it is. But just to say this, the 25 by 25 agenda is really based on the idea of increasing food production so that we become more food secure. And so what we have laid out is a pathway towards increased production. When we look at our own food bill, which stands at 197 million, near 200 million, we are saying that 25% of that is just over 45 million, near 50 million, right? And what we are looking at is that we want to ensure that our farmers can partake in the distribution of that near $50 million locally. And our pathway is to prepare them in all aspects to be able to do that. And so again, we mentioned earlier the greenhouse villages. So each greenhouse would now be leased to a farmer. Turnkey services that they could partake in and increase productivity. We've also, as was mentioned yesterday, considered open field farming. And one of the areas that we looked at, we analyzed one of the most successful small farms on the island, which is owned by, as we call him affectionately, Yellow. And he has consistently been one of the top producers. So we analyzed, why is he able to produce? And we analyzed his farm. And we recognize there are a number of components on this farm that could contribute to higher yields and greater production. And I submitted a proposal to Cabinet, a Cabinet submission, and Cabinet supported us providing some of these materials to our farmers. And so things like ground cover, drip irrigation, water tanks, in a structured way, so that we, one, reduce the amount of water used, because drip irrigation applies the water exactly to the plant where it's needed. The ground cover retains the moisture, which means there's less evaporation, less water again to be used. The water tanks could be used to harvest rainwater, store it for use when you need it. And these are the things that we're looking at, real-time components. The ground cover also suppress weeds.
Less pesticides.
Less pesticides.
Does location matter? Where is his farm located?
St. Peter's, but location isn't as great a factor, considering once you have all the other factors in place. And so when we look at this, we are really looking at how do we increase production. So one, the greenhouse villages. Two, these farm supplies that we are now going to be offering to some of our farmers so that they can increase their production, right?
Yeah.
Fishing, because let's not think that farming is the only area in terms of crop farming. There's also livestock. There's also our fisher folk. They are the agro-processors. And we have to consider all of these people when we consider the entire scope of the 25 by 25. And in terms of, let's take our fisher folk. We've recognized that one of the highest performing areas has been the fishing around our fans, right? Ocean pelagic. That has been increasing in performance. So what we have started to do now is deploy more fans. Because if it is performing, you want to do more of that.
Increase. Yes.
Correct? And so now we're deploying more fans. We've recognized that to access these fans, our fisher folk would need better boats. So now we are looking at bringing in persons to train in new boat designs and build better boats.
Impressive. Impressive. Now, I know in relation to the 25 by 25, a lot of the farmers have an issue with it. And I'm not sure if in your discussions, because I know you guys have met, if that was highlighted.
If we could agree a lot of the farmers, a group.
a group. The consortium that we've met with,
Yes.
let me fix that. The consortium that we've met with, they have expressed some displeasure in the approach and the crops chosen and things of that nature. And I'm not sure if it has been brought to your attention. I know you guys have had meetings. So can you give us some background on that? I know there were specific crops chosen.
Okay, so some background on that. The crops that were chosen were taken from an analysis of those that we import heavily, where there's an opportunity. Because this money is already being spent on these crops. And we analyze from that data, what can we grow properly here, given the size of our lands, given the nature of our soils, our climate. And so all these factors were taken into consideration. And we chose a number of crops to offset that import. There are other crops that we're going to venture into. We did not put them heavily in the 25 by 25. Why? Because when we considered the productive time of these crops, let's take a crop like soursop. To plant a soursop seed today, you don't reasonably expect to see productivity for the next 3 to 5 years. So why we would list that in our 25 by 25 agenda?
Give the audience an example of some of the ones that are actually listed.
Like broccoli, cauliflower, watermelon, carrots, onion. I think one of the farmers on the consortium as well, he grow carrots well, right? And the thing about it is that you have to look at the variety that people are buying, right? If one of our local carrots, one can come a pound, two can come a pound. But when you compare that to what the supermarkets import, it's like 5 and 6 in a bag for the same pound. When a consumer go and then look at 2 in a bag and 6 in a bag, which one do you think they're going to choose for the same price, right? So those are the conversations that we have been having, and we had that conversation with them as well. Let us research, let us try new varieties so we can penetrate the market, right? So what we did though, we look at the comparative advantage, right? What we can grow well and what makes sense for us economically. Right, and when you look at those crops like broccoli, we can do broccoli. We have the climatic conditions, right? And when you import $1.2 million worth of broccoli, could you imagine if 6 farmers just focus on growing broccoli alone? That's over 200,000 for each farmer. But again, we have the issue of glut scarcity. I mean, how long can we continue to have glut and scarcity? Right, so what we are saying is that let us do more organized farming. Let us choose an organized approach. And that is what we presented. And that has been the discussion.
Now, was that rejected? Was that accepted? Because I feel like somewhere along the line, there's a disconnect with the consortium and the Ministry of Agriculture. And that's why I was so excited that you guys were coming today, because I was like, okay, finally we're going to get to the bottom of this.
And they have said on numerous occasions that they feel excluded from the discussion. They feel as though they don't have a voice at the table.
What I said earlier, Azard, when we met, I met with them about 4 times. I had one meeting with the minister. I said to them, how often do you want to meet? Let us set a date. The whole reason for that is for us to have continuous discussion. Funny enough, right? When we got in, we had a lot of issues with chemicals and things missing and not being able to have the supplies available. We remedied that situation. And guess what? I reach out to persons on the same consortium to make the recommendations of what chemicals they would like to see us carry and all these different type of things. So I'm quite confused. But again, I extended the olive branch and said, look, let us set a date, let us set a time, let us have a schedule. We're going to meet every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and let us continue to have those discussions. And
I don't want us to make this focus on the consortium, because the truth is, what we're doing here in agriculture is, a national effort. And the consortium, yes, a valuable part of that. But again, they're just a part of it. And even yesterday, a number of farmers expressed their disappointment because the meeting was ongoing. The consortium raised issues that most people were a bit baffled by, and then walked out of the room.
This was while the launch was happening, or a meeting?
Because there's an article that says that
part of the launch.
That farmers left the meeting yesterday.
The consortium. And this is what is being projected.
Only
farmers. It
Not
was
farmers,
only the consortium.
only the members of the consortium.
Only the members. And I was told
and the
that the
other farmers
consortium
were actually expressing disappointment in the way they did that.
But Minister, there seem to be a number of issues, a number of concerns that have been risen by the consortium and other, members of the farming community. I know we are being told that we are pressed for time. Yes,
unfortunately.
Of course, this
And
should be
willing,
a follow-up discussion,
correct.
because one of the
willing
questions
to resolve any. Like I said, when I met with them, I gave them the chance to present an agenda.
Because one of the questions is, what is the national agenda? We talk about the regional agenda, but what is the national agenda for agriculture?
But that is 25 by 25 and beyond. 25 by 25 and beyond. Because what we are working on is going to fix the underlying issues in agriculture. Tractors, land preparation, water, being able to have consistent production, feral animals.
Climate change matters. We are fixing all of these conditions. And again, in fixing that, you increase productivity.
Correct.
And if we could increase productivity by 25%, again, that retains near $50 million in our economy.
That's a
But
lot.
definitely we need a follow-up discussion with
Yes,
both
we're going to invite you guys to come back.
and the
for sure.
PS,
For sure.
because we want to make sure that this is an open space for discussion.
Yes.
Don't let it take this long again. But thank you guys so much for coming in and for sharing with our listening and viewing audience the other side of the coin, because for the longest while we've been getting one side of the story. So we're happy that you guys were able to come in today and clear the air on some of the issues, and we invite you to come again and expound some more on the 25 by 25.
Yes, so we have our open door policy.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said to them yesterday, I think we need to leave the politics out of the agriculture.
Yes.
We need to leave the politics out of a lot of things.
Yes.
Yes. Because food security is a real matter. And I hate when I see these agendas coming into the room, political and otherwise, and making it like a food security matter. Let's separate them. It's time to play politics. And it's time to talk about real matters. And right now, food is a real matter that we need to discuss.
I could not be more happy that you said that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a
Yes.
good weekend,
We'll take a short
guys.
break.
Take care.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
Rams the good food people always there to serve you. Rams the good food people locations right near you. Rams the good food people in store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. You want your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
The climate change crisis is already making millions of people sick and jeopardizing lives. But for us in the Caribbean, young people are among the most vulnerable. Our future is at risk. Taking action now can lead to huge health benefits. The I Deserve a Better Climate for My Health campaign will spotlight real issues from real young people in the Caribbean and give youths a platform to contribute to the solutions for climate change and health. You are not too young to inspire climate and health action.
Hey kids, drink healthy!
Reduce sugar chubby with the same great taste. Lots of magic fruity flavors, drink the more healthy way.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Be active, be healthy, drink lots of chubby. Kicking football, playing cricket, having fun in the sun.
It's chubby.
Reduced sugar chubby keeps you cool and refreshed.
It tastes so yummy, chubby, chubby.
25% less sugar chubby. Jumping rope, running races, have fun.
It tastes so yummy, chubby.
Drink the more healthy way.
Fruta.
All right, and we are back after a riveting segment.
Yes.
Welcome to Fireproof.
Yes, fireproof. Are we truly fireproof? Have we been fireproof?
I feel like he's attacking you. Are we?
Good morning, everyone. Candy, Azard,
Yes.
good morning to you.
Yes.
Jamster, good morning.
Yes.
All right, so, well, in relation to the question that you asked,
Yes.
unfortunately not. We had an incident yesterday that I would just like to, share share with the public. Yeah, yesterday at the Nevis Cultural Complex, they had a fire there. So we just want to take the time out today to kind of share some information with persons who operate booths, in terms of them being fire safety conscious and be prepared in the event of a fire.
Wow.
Yeah. So
tell us what actually happened.
Not jumping too much into detail, but we had a fire at the Nevis Cultural Complex. Culturama just launched yesterday, I think it was. So the official opening. So they had an event at the complex.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, one of the booths caught fire, and based on conversations with different persons, my guys, the fire seemed to have been of electrical nature.
Okay.
Seems that way. But like I say, it's still under investigation, so other findings may turn up.
Wow.
So the fire happened while events were taking place? Or because I know you said it was the opening.
It was the opening, yes. I'm not too familiar with exactly when it took place.
And these are the booths like right in front when you're going in, like you have to make the payment and then enter the village?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So in relation to tips for persons who have booths, we are asking persons to, at least have a fire extinguisher on hand in their booths. The fire extinguisher is a quick means of extinguishing any fire. Now, if that person, let's say, had a fire extinguisher handy, then it would be a lot easier for them to engage the fire extinguisher, get the fire under control, at least to a point of until we arrive. Once it is safe for them to do so, mind you,
I guess at the point in time, they figured, what could go wrong, and maybe this is a lesson and a wake-up call for all of us, regardless where you are, what you're doing, or which building you're in, that to ensure that there is at least a fire extinguisher in every building.
Because, typically persons who occupy booths around these time, they do a number of things in their booth. Some persons actually do cooking. Others, they have deep fryers, etc., to ensure that persons are properly fed. That is a time where everybody goes out and they want to enjoy the different tasty meals that persons provide. So, in terms of cleaning as well. So extinguishers is one aspect. We want to focus as well on cleaning.
Wow.
It is important for individuals to clean. Persons who fry stuff regularly, they have deep fryers. Oil is something that spatters about from time to time. Even the grease that emits from the cooking, it gets onto walls, it gets onto your stove, nearby appliances, etc. And these can build up over time. So persons need to do regular cleaning, wipe down the surfaces, wipe down the walls, especially behind of the stove.
Because that grease now acts as an accelerant.
Exactly. Once that build up, you have heat involved. The oxygen is there, and you have an open flame. Then you have everything is conducive for the fire to then thrive greatly.
Wow. The last thing I expected to hear you say today was there was a fire. We've been kind of quiet for so long.
So I really believe that one point in time we were
I know, right?
At one point in time, I really believe we were fireproof.
100%.
100%.
Now, you know what? My questions are, so this was dealt by the fire and rescue
services, right? They were called to the scene. They were able to put out the fire.
Give like some stats, like how many persons went, how long it took to put out the fire, was there any damage? You know, I have like 1,000 questions.
I know.
I'm sorry.
in relation to the shift wise, there may have been 4 persons who attended the fire. What was the other question?
How long did it take? Was it a big fire? How long did it take?
All right, so the fire, it did some damage to the booth. They were considerably damaged. There were water damage, fire damage, smoke damage, so it did some serious damages. The time it took, won't be able to say exactly how long. They were able to mop up everything. But it would have been. Well, don't want to.
So there are about 4 booths there, if my memory serves me. More than 4.
Yeah, there are more than 4 on the.
How
on
many
the
were damaged? Like
just
front.
One was damaged.
Just one.
Yeah, just
okay,
one was
good.
damaged.
Because that would be a very crappy start to Culturama. I know it's something that everybody here has been looking forward to, St. Kitts and Nevis, even some of the wider Caribbean, because people do travel to go to Culturama. So it would be very sad that, it would have damaged. But I'm happy it's just one booth. We could probably close up that booth until we get it repaired and continue with the festivities.
Hopefully they will get it repaired, a lot quicker, in a quick time.
And hopefully it's the first and the last, because, we want Culturama to succeed.
Yeah.
Electrical wiring. I just want to touch on this aspect now. Electrical wiring, wires get frailed over time. So if you have wires in for a very long time, it would be important for you to recheck them and ensure that you reinstall new wiring ever so often. And in addition to that, whenever you have increased appliances, the wires that you have may not be able to take the load that you currently have, because you would have applied more appliances over time. Some persons, they might just start out with a microwave. Next thing you look, they have blender, toasters, etc., adding more strain on the electrical system that you have present. The transformers, you might need to update to a bigger transformer if needs be. Make sure that your breakers can withstand the whatever appliances that you have attached to them, and not creating any kind of fire related hazard. So make sure to change your wires. Like I said, over time wires get brittle, frail, so make sure that you change them out.
Wow.
If you have any electrical...
So this sounds like maybe have an electrician come in and back check stuff.
Right. I was touching base with electrical appliances. Now, you may have electrical appliances that giving you a little trouble here and there. Make sure that you can get that appliance fixed and fixed in a proper way. Don't go through any shortcuts in terms of maybe rigging up a wire here or there to patch it, but make sure a qualified electrician checks your appliance to make sure that it goes through the various checks that it needs to go through.
Exactly. Don't play an electrician. Get a proper electrician. What are some of the other tips?
That's all I wanted to highlight. Smoke detector play a big part, but then once you're doing cooking within a small space. Ever so often you would have smoke building up. Let's say you're frying something, then having a smoke detector in a booth might not be the best, because then ever so often it would be triggering off, and then persons, you don't want to get numb to the sound of a smoke detector going off. Next thing you look, in an actual event now, it's going off, and you're thinking that, hey, someone.
It's the regular annoyance. Because let's face it, they're kind of annoying. I mean, don't get me wrong, they save lives, but my goodness, the slightest thing. Some of them are very sensitive.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
All right then. So the takeaway from today is to check your electrical wiring. I don't play with electricity at all.
Yeah.
So like even to change a bulb, I'm panicking.
So making sure that switch is off, right?
Yep, it's off.
Even
There's
double
no-
checking.
Let me tell you.
Sometimes you might even want to take off the whole panel, make sure the whole panel is
make
off.
sure it's off, because I'm not even trying to get electrocuted. But yeah, guys, so get a qualified electrician to check your electrical wiring.
We have
actually
two calls.
calls.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have two calls, so we're gonna take some calls.
Hello.
Hi.
Greetings, Lindsay.
Hi, good morning.
Give the feed for, we didn't want to miss a word. What is the name of this program?
This one is Fireproof.
Fireproof.
Yeah, where did you find his name from?
We're making sure the nation is fireproof.
Yeah.
I love your candidness.
Stop laughing now, man. Give thanks to the sound about the cleaning. Within the scheme of things, that is so vital, and a lot of people don't do that as regular as they should, as they ought to, and it's just that is not only to prevent fire, but that having that cleanly environment with while one is preparing food, We wanted to. We're gonna do it, We're gonna do it. In your previous guest there, the honorable minister and the permanent secretary, a question was posed towards consistency. We attended the gathering yesterday. We noticed he did not get to that question, because there's so much things too in the thing there. But we attended the meeting, and it came out yesterday that the supermarkets, need to up their game, because it is not what it seems in terms of the farmers not being consistent. The supermarket is guilty of playing games with farmers at times. A suggestion was made by a gentleman at the meeting how we can hold them responsible without not doing it in any high-handed way, but respectfully. That's the word, And I think that we should apply that going forward, so that the supermarkets around and about us will support us in our endeavors, and apart from the overseas, the nearby islands markets that we have. It's fireproof, so we don't want to take up no more time there. Give thanks for the information, IT.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah, did we lose the other call, Jamsa? Oh, hello?
Yes. Hello? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so
we're
here. So we want to thank that caller for his contribution, We got some jokes there as well,
Any final words, Timothy?
So remembering that,
Oh, we have a caller. Let's go, caller.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Happy Friday to you all.
Good morning. Happy
Same to you,
Friday.
honey.
What's going on?
Yes, sir. I'm fine. I'm here just listening on you all.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
listening.
what according to say, you see why we get in this passport problem? Because these people ain't honest. I was watching my TV at night, and the man in Dominica, the Roosevelt, they were saying they was going to people, who don't take this, these people money, investors money, and say they're going to do this, they're going to develop here, they're going to develop there, and they ain't do a thing. So when I saw the people them go there and I point out to see here, he bring the people them say about where X-Wise said money to give him, and he gonna develop a fish plant there. Up to now, no fish the thing there. The thing still in bushes, and that's what happened. And they don't tell them watch these passport. They're going into wrong hands. Be careful. So if we get in this thing now, it's too bad. Because yeah, the money sweet them, but what happened? They reach into wrong hands, and number one, what they doing enough with the money? What they do with the money? They developing anything? They can't even show they don't think up here, they do here, they do there. So, we got to go back to visa, it's just up to us.
Yeah. We have another caller in. We want to catch that caller as well.
Thank you so much for your
Thanks for your
contribution.
contribution.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good,
Good
thanks.
morning.
You?
Yeah, pretty good. I wanted to ask, like, the guy from Fireproof is still on, right?
Yes, he's
Yeah,
here.
he's here.
Okay, my concern or question was, in the new businesses, what they call Airbnb. Yeah, I want to know if in St. Kitts and Nevis if those businesses are regulated. The reason why I'm asking this question is that I've been noticing that they've been having a lot of American tourists that's going down to Mexico, and I have a personal friend that lost a daughter there. They died in their sleep overnight, and they stayed at the Airbnb, and they was inhaling carbon monoxide. So I want to know if such businesses, because I know this is a new industry, and persons on the ground there are using their homes and their invested money in these businesses, Airbnb. So I want to know if they're in St. Kitts and Nevis, if such a businesses are being regulated to protect persons that come into the federation and who's going to be staying at these places.
I love that
And I'll
question.
listen off the air, man. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that question. So, Timothy, those, bed and breakfasts, Airbnb type houses, stays.
Okay, so in relation to regulation, now we as a fire department, we do not have the jurisdictions per se over regulations. I said some time back that we are looking to revise our act and implement new additions to our act. So we are looking to have a stronger presence when it comes to regulations throughout the federation. So in insurances is one area where they take these things very seriously, and in certain instances we insurances ensure that when it comes to fire related areas, that these businesses, they come to us for recommendations, and that they carry out the recommendations that we would give to them to ensure, for the business to be insured by these insurance companies. So that is one area that we collaborate with insurances to get things done. But on fire department, on a separate side of things, we are looking to increase legislations so that we would have more footing within the federation.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And insurance does not play, so
Yes,
at least it's
indeed.
regulated in
Mhm.
that aspect.
Mhm.
All right, then. Well, we are out of time, but thank you so much for coming in. As usual, we love having you here on Fridays
thank
to
you,
educate us and the general public. So, any last words?
Yeah, just to encourage the general public to be fire safety conscious. Now, these tips that were shared today is not just for the Culturama season that is there. We have Independence, where a number of booths has been set up in different places. Culturama is Carnival is also coming up, where we have a lot of booths in town. So it's just to make sure that the booth owners, when they're setting up these booths, they make sure that they set them up properly, have the necessary fire equipment there to mitigate against fire hazards and keeping the country safer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for that.
so much.
And thank you guys for tuning in to Island Tea
Yeah.
today. We will see you back here
But
next
before
week.
they go, Candy, I have to say this one
Oh,
last
go
time
ahead.
again. All that is gold does not glitter. All those who wander are not lost. The old that is strong does not wither. The roots are not reached by the frost.
I must say, this has been your favorite quote. I've never seen you so obsessed with a quote. It's a nice one, though.
Yeah, it's a good quote. It's a good quote.
I like it.
The first one, all that glitters,
Yeah.
is not gold.
I think my favorite is the last part.
Deep roots are not reached by the frost.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a safe and wonderful weekend, everyone. And I'll see you guys on Monday.
Yeah, Island Tea.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
The definition of sound: vibrations that travel through the air or another medium and can be heard when they reach a person's ear.
Turn it up for sound.